Hello everybody, my name is Julia Muntal and today I'm going to present to you the different role of teachers in classrooms. As you can see, here is the outline of my presentation. I have divided my presentation in three main parts. First of all, there is the introduction, where I'm gonna answer the question, what is a teacher for? Then I'm going to describe to you the different roles of teaching that we have, that they are the explainer, the involver, and the explainer one. And finally, I'm going to draw some conclusions and I will show you the references that I have used in order to do my presentation. So now let's move to the first slide. So firstly, what is a teacher for? If we look the definition on the dictionary, we find that the teacher is somebody who is responsible of the learning of the students on a certain subject. However, we know that the word teacher involves much more things because people tend to connect teaching with learning, and in sometimes these two terms are not related because there can be teaching but there cannot be learning. This is a problem that we are dealing nowadays, and the important fact is that teachers and students should be both involved and motivated in their own tasks that are learning and teaching, so that they could achieve their basic aim, that in this case is teaching. So as we can see, the teacher has a key role while we are talking about teaching, and the figure of teaching has been under study for several years, and there had been different classifications of them. So here in this presentation, we are going to deal with the classification of Scrivener in his book Learning Teaching, and he distinguished between the explainer, the involver, and the enabler one. So now let's move to the first one, the explainer. The explainer teacher can be highly related with the traditional role that we used to know. The fact that we have a teacher that bases her methodology in chalk to chalk, that means that he stays on the blackboard and he keeps writing down all the theory, and the students are the ones that are passive and are taking notes, and they are in silence. So we can see that the main leadership in this case is for the teacher, who is the one that takes the control, and it's about the students. So this kind of teaching can be clearly summarized with the sentence Jack to Mark. So we have the teacher who's the one that possesses all the learning, and he has to transmit it to the students in a way that he pours all the new knowledge to the learners. However, this is not a good way of teaching because it doesn't involve the capacities that learners should have. So another kind of teaching that has been really important is the involver one. So we have a teacher that knows about the subject, but also knows about the methodologies that can be used in order to teach. He knows about the organizational procedures, about the techniques that can be used in learning, and he can do explanations but also have a lot of other techniques on her disposal or on his disposal. So he works on the classes and wants the learners to be involved in the class. He looks for a lot of activities that could be useful for learning and are not only related to explanations. So learners are more active. However, the power of controlling the class relies on the teacher itself. And finally, the last evolution on teaching is given to the enabler teacher. We have a teacher that knows about the methodology and the subject. However, he shares the control of the classroom with the students, and in some ways he even hands this control to the students entirely. So they take the decisions together, they work as a group, so the level of the teacher and the student is the same. There is no difference. In a way, it's the learners that learn by themselves, and they have the teacher there who is a counselor, an advisor, and a source of information, who is just trying to help them and be someone to solve their doubts. So he just looks at it and doesn't participate much. It's kind of an autonomous kind of learning. So after seeing these three roles of teaching, we can conclude that nowadays the one that is emerging is the enabler one, because it shows that the students have capacities and are independent on their learning, and they can learn whatever they want with the help of somebody, but somebody that empowers their own abilities and capacities to improve. So I think that this kind of teaching should be promoted because it's a more accurate and suitable one. So until here is my presentation. Thank you for paying attention to me. Here are the references that I have used in order to do my presentation, and if you have some doubts or questions to me, I will be very grateful to answer them. Thank you so much for your attention.